Welcome to the North-South podcast. My name is Darren DeLanga and I make up the North Side, being based in the UK. My co-host, Alistair Naidu, makes up the South Side, being based in South Africa. Let's get into it. World Cup year, so that's quite an important thing for me and you, since we love our cricket so much.
I think more post-traumatic stress than anything else come from those World Cups being South African.
Yeah, especially being a South African supporter, there's a C word that we don't mention anymore, and that we stick away from. So yeah, that's what our focus is on this podcast, and our first little look at will be what happened in 2018. Just some interesting and stats and that coming out of the year. We can look at the rankings first. So at the end of 2018, the rankings were England, India, New Zealand, South Africa, and Pakistan, which make up the top 5 ranked.
I think there's a very important country that's missing from that top 5. I don't know.
Yes, I'm getting to that. But that's actually the very next point. So Australia is sitting in number 6.
I never thought I'd see this day come, honestly.
Yeah.
Never, dude. Like, even if you said 10 years ago, if you said 100 years from now, would Australia be out of the top 5 in ODIs? I'd say no, honestly.
And
that's spectacular, man. That is honestly...
It's quite a nice feeling, I must admit, having them down there for a while.
No, wait. I have to support my Southern Hemisphere brother over here, Australia.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
I'll give you that one. But yeah, something interesting from 2018 regarding Australia is that they only had 2 wins out of their 13 ODIs they played. They lost 11.
That is incredible. I think that they need to keep a close eye on the last few Australian guys who retired. I think they will be going through some emotional stress right now that is beyond capable. I think that it's beyond comparable to anything else to watch a team decline within a generation or two from being, I don't know, man. I'd honestly say one of the best teams in the world in any sport.
Well, I want to say one of the best cricketing teams in history. It's like if you look back to the Ashes teams of about 2005, 6, 7, that region. So like 10 years ago, just over 10 years ago, where you had the Warnes, McGraths, the Lees, Nathan Bracken, Gilchrist,
pretty much
Hayden,
everyone. 1 to 11, all Hall of Fame type players.
That team was like invincible. It's been a very quick, sharp fall for them. And obviously things happened last.
What do you attribute their fall, their sharp decline to? Because I mean, even as close as 2015, the last World Cup held in Oceania.
Yeah.
I mean, they were literally half the team they used to be, and they still managed to win the World Cup. That speaks to the strength that those guys left behind and the kind of ethos they left behind within the team.
Yeah.
From now till then, I mean, just the cheating scandal alone, Australia is known for being a team that would never ever do something like that.
Yeah.
Like, what about Gilchrist saying he felt physically sick? Or I think it was one of those guys. I mean, that's incredible, dude.
Yeah,
they are torturing those poor recent retirees, man. Let those guys retire and enjoy their retirement. You are absolutely torturing them.
Yeah. I don't know what's caused such a sharp decline. Because like you said, they won the World Cup, very close game versus New Zealand. In the final there. But so that's only like 3 years ago, 4 years, or now 4 years. So there's been something that's drastically happened. I don't know if it's from a leadership or like an ethos, or the players. There has been quite a few chopping and changing, it seems, over the last year or two. A lot of new players coming in, but no consistency in the team.
So I think for Australia, it's very interesting because as a South African, always when we play those guys and when we beat them well, there's always a hint of, well, we don't have such a developed country. We don't have such developed systems.
Yeah.
How are we beating you? Especially when it comes to other sports, but that's for another podcast. In terms of cricket, I mean, when I was there, I mean, man, the amount of just I don't even know how many different tiers they have, but the facilities and the things like that. You think that I mean, that sort of system produced that legendary team, that legendary
Yeah.
10, 15 years that they had.
Yeah.
How, like, what on earth, they aren't really, is it AFL? Is that what's happening to you? You know what I'm saying? Is
Yeah.
that where all the attention and all the focus is going in that country? Because it's a very niche sport, but it's absolutely huge there, man. It is humongous there.
Yeah. I don't know what to attribute their sharp fall to directly. But maybe we can.
I think it's the cheating thing. I think that really deflated them, and they lost all the momentum they gained from those decades of just.
Well, I already saw an article this week asking where or Tim Payne, the current Australian captain, has asked the public to forgive Warner and Smith so that they can come back to the team. And I kind of, that just shows how how bad things are, that they need to plead for them to come back.
So what's the current situation with Steve Smith now? Is he just from Australian setup? Both formats, in all three formats?
I think Warner and Smith are available for selection again in March of this year. And I think Steve Smith can't captain the side for another year on that. So he can play for them, but he can't captain them.
That's such a tragedy, man. Like, Steve Smith, something I've never seen before in all the decade or so I've been watching cricket. Just a spectacular talent. The closest thing to a Bradman-esque type person we've seen. Like, and I'm literally putting him, like, man, that average is something else, dude.
But I don't think he'll ever be that Steve Smith again. I think
it's completely now.
There was one of the commentators on one of the South African Pakistan Test game that's just happened was saying that he's spoken to Steve Smith recently, and he said he's never seen him so shy and like in a shell, and that he's not the person he used to be. So it just shows you how hard it hits him. So I don't think he'll be the same cricketer again. I think he'll probably have a mediocre rest of career, basically.
Yeah, I think it's a lesson to that country that Australians just don't cheat. It's just a thing with them. It's one of the things they're proud about. They're not cheaters.
Yeah.
Some countries are cheaters, man. Like, just looking at this list here, they've had multiple players from Pakistan banned in the recent years. So doing all kinds of nonsense, dude. Yeah. All kinds, man. Australia is just not one of those countries where they do that. Yeah, they drink and they might cause a bit of problems partying and stuff like that, but nothing that's directly attached to the game. So that was pretty shocking for me. And if they stand even a closest chance, they need those guys at full strength. They need
we'll get into that going to the end of the podcast. But then on the opposite side, England were the top ranked side with 17 wins, which is quite impressive. But then if you looked a bit at the win-loss ratio, and India, which was second in the rankings, actually came out on first. So they only had 14 wins, but when you look at how many games they played quite a few less than England. So overall, they came out on top. And then it was, if you look at the win-loss ratio, it was India first, England second, and then South Africa was third. So that's pretty good. And then you want to take a stab and guess who was the top ranked batsman of the year with the most runs?
Root, I don't know.
No.
Who is it?
Kohli.
Of course it is. Of course it is, man. Superman.
So if you look at the Indian side at the moment, they've got a lot of good players, and all the positions, and some really good young talent coming through.
Yeah, dude. Never. If you look at the batting rankings, never underestimate a top-notch duo, man. If you look at past sports, past history, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen winning 6 titles together. There has to be someone underneath supporting the superstar. Dude, Sharma's right there, man. Number 2 in the rankings.
Yeah, that's it. Kohli and Sharma 1 and 2. And yeah, I think Kohli got over 1,200 runs, and an average of 130, which is for a year that's super impressive.
That doesn't even sound real, man. That sounds like maybe someone who played 3 matches and got not out in all 3 and scored like a century in 1.
Yeah,
it sounds like a play on numbers. That sort of average, dude.
Yeah, but that's super impressive, and I think obviously captain the side and that.
Numbers don't lie. In cricket, numbers do not lie, man. And that average speaks for itself. I don't think you need to say anything else. I don't think we've seen that in ODI cricket before. A run like that at such.
Yeah.
India's a different level with the pressure that gets put on people. We saw how if we just look back recently at like Warner and Steve Smith and those guys, pressure can get to the best of them. So if you got like 1 billion people saying different things to you and you manage to block that out and still maintain. We haven't seen that. Like Chenduka maybe did it, but I mean, beside that, it usually gets to those guys, eh? I mean, they in 2007 didn't they burn Dhoni's house down when?
I think there was quite violent action.
That's a good intense, man. If you ask me, that's crossing a line. They'd have burned the dude's house down.
And then also Bairstow and Root was 3rd and 4th. So another again a pair sitting on 3rd and 4th. So obviously they've been carrying the England side through.
I think Joe Root's special. I think he's a very special player. Personally, he's won me a lot of money, so that's why I hold him in very high regard as well. Dude. For someone, I think in cricket, it's not the most physical sport, but you have to have some level of physicality to it. And for a guy with that stature to just dominate like that's like someone just picking a guy up and dropping him on his head in rugby. The way he just like commands that sort of respect with the way he bats, the way he builds his innings. I mean, his numbers do not lie either, dude. I reckon if you take a whole bunch of guys and put them in a lineup and you say pick the guy with the highest average here for a non-cricket watcher, they'd never pick Joe Root. The guy looks like a complete opposite of how he plays. I think that speaks to his attitude, man. He's a fighter, dude. He's a real fighter.
And then I also just want to pick out one to watch going into 2019 from Pakistan, Fakhar Zaman. I don't think Pakistan played as many games as some of the other top tier sides in 2018, but he did have a highest of 210 not out, which is quite amazing in an ODI game.
Say that again.
Got 210.
Yeah. Wow, that's incredible, man. That's incredible. But I think that speaks to more of the T20 mindset filtering through, where these guys just play different. They just play different in the last 8 to 10 years, dude.
Yeah, I want to just check that one. So because it sounds a bit too good to be true.
And check who it was against as well. I mean, that will also sort of. And when I was looking at the rankings here, there's some guys that appear that, they seem like, I don't know if you've heard of Shy Hope from West Indies. He seems to appear quite high in the ranking.
It was 210 not out versus Zimbabwe. So, obviously Zimbabwe.
But, I mean, still, dude, Zimbabwe is not a completely laughable team, but 210, dude, that speaks to the batsman. That's incredible.
Yeah. And then, if you look at the bowling side of things, Rashid Khan from Afghanistan is the top ranked bowler of the year with an average of 14.45 and a strike rate of 22.
What? That's like James Bond or something, man. That's crazy.
So 22 balls. Every 22 balls he gets a wicket. That's pretty impressive. There's also the other, I think. Is it another leg spinner? There's another spinner from Afghanistan that's quite highly ranked. Quite a young guy as well.
Is it Rashid Khan? I'm not sure.
No, I'm speaking of Rashid Khan at the moment.
Sorry.
there's another guy. I forgot his name now. It's gone over my head.
Mujib Al Rahman. That's another guy that's in the top 10. Perhaps maybe he's a leg spin.
Yeah, but I just know that they've got those two youngish guys that are really good. And it's the Afghanistan cricket team is really going up in leaps and bounds.
That's incredible, man. I think that they're definitely an emerging force. But if you look at the prowess they come from, I mean, are they considered subcontinent?
Yeah,
you'd expect them to just have it in their blood, dude. Everyone around them's pretty much got cricket infrastructure going. They've got the fanship. I think that counts a lot because trying to get an economy going in a country like that is going to be difficult. So they've managed to do well, dude. I think they're going to have a real problem in trying to organize series in their country. I think that's a long way off. A very unstable country at the moment, still very dynamic situation. But yeah, dude, it's good to see them, overcoming those odds and doing well, and really something for Afghanistanis to be proud of, dude, for a change. You know what I'm saying? Instead of always having to suffer. Do you want to look at all-rounders?
Well, I just wanted to mention one to watch in the bowling side of things. Also coming out of Pakistan, Shaheen Afridi, which he's 18 years old, and
they need to watch him closely. They need to tap his phone there. You need to be careful. Don't ruin another young one, please.
And so I think he's definitely one to watch. His average was 17.661 at a strike rate of 21.
That's incredible.
So, and I think he only played four games or something like that. So I definitely think he's one to watch in the 2019 World Cup. Definitely going to be interesting. But you can lead on the all-rounder side.
I don't know how you feel about all-rounders, but for all the years I've been watching, it's a pretty stagnant sort of ranking system. I mean, Cullis was always there, Pollock was always there, a couple guys from Pakistan were always there. But if you look at it now, I mean, the rankings I have, I think, are slightly dated. But Rashid Khan, #1, is that true? From Afghanistan?
It's possible. I know he can hold the bat, so he can bat.
Because he's surrounded by a whole bunch of proper all-rounders, man. Shakib Al Hassan, multi-World Cup veteran. Mohammad Hafiz, been there, done that. Moeen Ali, very respectable. I mean, I'm frightened of his spin when it comes to South Africa, dude. He's really picked us apart before at certain times. And not a mug with the bat either, dude. He can hold the middle order together if you really give him a chance. He can bat till the end. Angelo Matthews, one of my favorite players. I like him a lot. I think he has really, really good potential to be a legend one day. And Jason Holder, dude, the physical specimen. I mean, he bowls a powerful ball. He's not a mug with the bat either. So yeah. And then Zimbabwean showing up there, Sikandar Raza. I mean, that's good for them, dude. They've got some talent coming through there.
Yeah. And then do you want to look at some of the fixtures for the new year? I know that India versus Australia is happening at the moment, with India being in Australia, but
always controversy. Always controversy when India's been there. More of a tabloid thing than anything else.
There is the follow-up series of Australia visiting India, but I'm pretty sure that India are gonna, if India is comfortably beating Australia as is in Australia, I'm pretty sure they're gonna give them a real thumping in India.
Do you think that? Do you think that the Australian press's tactic of trying to get into the opposition's minds has dulled down a bit ever since their team hasn't been doing so well?
I don't know. I think they're all quite proud in that, so I don't think they'll be taking this very well. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be some heavy words said in the meetings going forward. Especially to the captain and coaching staff and that. But I think it'll. We'll have to see how that goes. Obviously, at the moment, there's Pakistan and South Africa. And it seems like there's also going to be India and New Zealand for an ODI series.
And what are your thoughts on this current series in South Africa, man? Pretty low scoring affair. I mean, slightly scrappy, if you ask me.
I think it's the wickets that are partly to blame. I think that the South African wickets have probably aren't as good as what they used to be, and I don't think they're holding that bounce. That if you look at some of, I think it was in this previous test, the first day some of the balls were skidding through already, and under the knee roll kind of thing when it's pitched right back short of a length. You don't want that to happen on day one of a 5-day test game. But I also think Pakistan haven't had enough time to really adjust to conditions in South Africa. I think they had a 3-day warm-up game like the week or a few days before their first test.
I can never remember Pakistan coming and winning a test series. I think they've always struggled with the bouncy wickets here. That's what it looks like they've always. But then again, our bowlers as well are just shockingly frightening at some points in time. Like Dale Steyn at your head, KG at your ribs. Any batsman would suffer with that stuff, man.
Yeah, I think South Africa at home is a different beast. They generally are more fired up and a lot more aggressive in attack. So it's very difficult to beat South Africa in South Africa. But I think there's glimpses of like really good showings from Pakistan. Like if
it's always been that case, though. It's always been that case, man. A very inconsistent team, super spectacular performances at one point in time, and just shocking. Didn't they lose 07? They lost to Ireland, big debacle. Their coach died. I mean, can you make it more difficult on the team than that? Just complete. I mean, and then you had Shoaib Akhtar and Bob Woolmer fighting, then Bob Woolmer dying. That's just like that's gonna traumatize a team, dude. That's going to like instill a sense of chaos within the team.
And you've got Mohammad Amir back now. So after his stint away from cricket for match fixing and that, but he's come back pretty well. It seems like hasn't lost really anything, even though he had quite a long break away from international cricket. He's still keeping it up there at like 140, 145. K's an hour, which is impressive for someone that's been a fast bowler for as long as he has.
And he wasn't quite known for his pace either. I mean, that's a new element he could add to his game. He was more known for his, I wouldn't say swing, I'd say more turn off the pitch, more line and length, more pressuring a batsman into a corner to make a mistake. He also utilizes conditions superbly well. He changes up his bowling. He's got superb slower balls, completely, guys. He got guys left wondering what's going on. And now he wants to add pace to that situation. That's a dangerous situation. And he's relatively young still. He did the crime. He did the time. I mean, what more can you say? Did you have to just welcome him back and hope he doesn't indulge in that nonsense?
But and then maybe we can look at some of the fixtures that I've just marked out in the World Cup itself.
Yeah, dude. What's your opinion on like I think association teams? So it's like mostly main players. I think that's a bit unfair, dude, because we've seen association teams like they minnows, but they come, they can catch you on your day off, dude.
I kind of think it's good in one sense and bad in another, because you kind of, without those lower ranked teams in the world, you kind of are shutting them out of the top tier of cricket, and they kind of don't get the chance to grow and develop against big nations, even if they are losing, and that they're still learning from it. Everyone,
and some people say, can you call it a World Cup if you're not including them? Because I mean,
this kind of, I think one of the things that the ICC was looking at is having like a World Cup for the top 8 and then a World Cup for the next 8 kind of thing. So it's like a 2-tier World Cup kind of thing.
No, I think it's better to have World Cup qualifiers like how soccer does it, and then have World Cup finals where they have an event where
Yeah, I think that would be a good way to do it. Or alternatively, you can you pretty much use the football World Cup kind of framework and like have the qualifying of each continent, whatever, and then the top one or two teams from each continent get selected and go to the World Cup kind of thing.
Well, there's 10 teams. There's 10 teams. Yeah, I think that's a decent amount to call it a World Cup.
Yeah, I think anything less than that, and it's kind of more of like just a series.
How come Zimbabwe is not in there?
They aren't they ranked out of the top 10?
Oh, well, that sucks for them, dude.
Afghanistan replaced them.
Okay.
So I think Afghanistan replaced them, and then there's obviously Bangladesh, which would be number 9 generally in the world. So yeah, I think, but I think it'll be still. It really just makes it the top of the top. So you only get to see the best cricket. So in that sense, it's good because you only seeing the best 10 sides in the world play each other, and it's a lot more even before even on a sheet kind of thing. It's you would prefer if you had like England versus the 14th, 15th team in the world, you kind of know England. They've got 99% chance of they're going to thrash them. But then you kind of do lose that 1% where you do have an Ireland upsetting them or the likes. But it'll be interesting to see what the viewership in that is like, and how the public, their perception on the new structure. Well, it seems from public point of view, just on that, is most, if not all, tickets have been sold already for the World Cup.
Sold out. So I guess that's a benefit of hosting it in a secure, country that's proven themselves in hosting major events. I think it's good because, honestly speaking, if that exact event was in South Africa, there'd be fixtures in there where there'd really be some patches of empty seats in the stands. It just wouldn't be the same.
Yeah, that's one added bonus of having it here in England. And it seems like there's been quite a bit of an outcry of people saying that they had ticket problems where people were notified that they were awarded tickets in the public ballots, but there was a mistake, and actually the company didn't have the tickets, or they had already sold all of them. So I think there was about 4,000 or 5,000 people that were told they were going to get tickets that aren't going to get tickets.
Do you think that's the case, or do you think that those tickets went to people who are going to resell them for a handsome fee?
Well, I'm pretty sure that is happening. I've seen it online, where tickets that are generally cost between 40 and 60 pounds are going at nearly 200 pounds a ticket. So I think they will have to crack down on people trying to do that, because I'm pretty sure that's not allowed.
And which fixtures stand out for you? Like, just looking at initially.
I was looking at it and thinking that this is the top 10 ranked sides in the world. So all of these fixtures are going to be pretty good and pretty intense, and each one is going to be important. You can't lose any. You got to go look to win every game you're in.
But as always in England, conditions are going to play a major part in what's going on. So you're going to have to look at how those teams are strategically, how experienced their captains are, and how they performed recently when they came to England. Because if you can master those sort of conditions, that's why England are so hard to beat in England. They're just a master of the conditions. You can take them off for 5 hours for rain and they don't lose their intensity because they're just used to it. They're just used to that sort of stuff.
I think obviously the first game, you've got to look at it as England versus South Africa. So that's going to be quite a crucial one for South Africa, and likewise England. I think that'll determine how far South Africa goes.
But Darren, if you look at it, I think in the last World Cup, South Africa proved that it's now about how we play more than about how we think. It's been more than 10 years since we've started using sports psychologists in our franchise teams and even in our national teams. So I think they've gotten over that hurdle. And we even saw in the last World Cup, we gave it our best shot, we didn't win. That's all we expect of them. That's why we don't say the C word anymore. Show us that and that's it. If you just keep doing it, you'll get there one day.
Yeah, and I think it's Yeah, especially in the last World Cup, I think there was so much hope, and we looked so good that we were going to make the semi-finals.
We always look good, Darren. There's some World Cups we were just a shutout to win, like some T20 World Cups as well. Just looked unstoppable, and then all of a sudden, everything falls on its head.
But then obviously there's another big one's India versus Pakistan, which is going to be.
Oh, that's always a big one. That's always a big one, man. Especially in England, because large populations of each country live there, and people who have descended from those populations also live there. It's exciting, though. One of the biggest rivalries in sport, so that's always exciting.
And another one is probably England versus India. I think that's going to be quite a big determination on where they sit at the end. And I've also got India versus New Zealand. I think that will be quite a good game. New Zealand are, slowly but surely, proving themselves on the ODI platform. And I think they've got quite a strong side. If you look at the likes of, Martin Guptill up the top with Kane Williamson.
Kane Williamson, very special player as well.
And then your bowling attack with the likes of Trent Bolt and that, who will be so effective here in these conditions. And you've got
he'll be looking to swing it at a crazy angle, man. That guy is pretty scary in those conditions.
Yeah, so I think that'll be quite a good game to watch. And then maybe another one for South Africa versus Australia. I think, Australia has generally been South Africa's bogey team for some reason. So I think if we can get the win against them, it'll put us in a good place.
I think the reason was that Australia has been really good in the previous World Cups. I think that was actually the reason. But in all honesty, I think we choked in 07. I just said the C word. All right, need to bleep that out. But yeah, I did. That caused me a lot of distress as a teenager. What happened in 07?
It was quite bad. But yeah, I think one of the sides to look out for in the World Cup itself is going to be Pakistan. I think they could be quite a dark horse. I think Pakistan performed pretty well in England. I think it was in one of the T20 tournament where they reached the final versus India.
Yeah. Pakistan will get a lot of good support as well in that country. If they just stick in their own bubble, they can sort of get like a home country feel going. I'm sure that will give them a lot of spirit and a lot of fight going forward. Very enthusiastic fans as well. So a lot of people probably travel over, and of course a lot of the immigrants that live there as well. I think that's good for them. They need that in a World Cup.
So I think they're going to be ones to watch out for. I think they get, especially with Mickey Arthur as coach now. He's been there, he's done that. He's been to World Cups before. He's quite a well-known coach that's been around for quite a while. So he's established, and I think he'll know what to expect coming into the World Cup. And you've got some quite established players now in the Pakistan lineup. If you look at the middle order and that, they've been there for quite a while. Azia Ali is, obviously he's quite a cornerstone player of that lower middle order. And you've got Mohammad Amir back, and
in those conditions, that's going to be pretty scary. He bowls very well in England.
So I think they've got a pretty solid side.
Do you think that the English are going to give him a hard time when he goes there?
I know they will. That's how they deflect any of their anxieties away, and that it's just to go after the player and that. Because I'm pretty sure any team that comes up against a fired up Mohammad Amir kind of thing, they're going to be worried. The same goes for the Trent Bolts and some of the other seamers and that from the likes of India and SA and that.
I think for this coming World Cup, I think it's going to be pretty hard to get past India. I think any team's going to struggle a lot, dude. I can't see their top order failing more times than once. If you look at even Shikhar Dhawan, a player that not a lot of people talk about, dude, he's gained a lot of experience in the last few years. He's incredibly athletic in the field, and that's what you need in ODIs to G the guys up when things are slow or something like that. You need those guys who can pull off spectacular catches, mad runouts, tight catches under pressure, the ball coming from behind them running backwards. Just those small moments, dude. And then you pile on Sharma and Kohli, and then you've got Jasprit Bumrah who's going to keep it tight. He's also going to be dangerous in those conditions. If a pitch is talking and turning, he's going to manage to somehow get that with his slower balls. I think he bowls like a crazy leg spinner sort of slow ball. Just mad, crazy sort of new innovative things you need to look out for. I think it's his first World Cup as well. But India are lucky, man. They managed to really harness the IPL, the amount of money that comes into their country to really get specialists going. Their team consists of a lot of specialists within the ODI game. Guys who can close the innings off, both batting and bowling. Guys who are specialist openers like Darwin. Things like that. So I think the IPL, they've harnessed that. South Africa's tried and failed miserably to try and get their league going. So I think there's only place for one at the moment, and everyone just feeds off that one in terms of developing the youngsters.
And I think Dhoni's going to be playing in this World Cup as well, isn't he?
Yeah, but where's the motivation for the guy, dude? Let's just say that he ended the World Cup off with a 6. I mean, like what? You can't even write that, man. That's some sort of okay. So you burn the guy's house down a few years earlier, and he comes and he wins the World Cup with a 6. That's a turnaround, man. That shows some sort of steel in that guy's pants. That's something else.
And then moving on a bit is with the predictions for the World Cup. I read a little article. And it was Nasser Hussain and Robert Key and Atherton and the likes, and they all select England. Obviously,
of course they do. Of course they do.
But I also feel that England are probably the favourites at the moment to win it, especially it being here in England and the current rankings and the side that they have. I'm pretty sure they are the team to beat.
Home advantage plays a major factor in World Cups. We've seen it before.
Yeah.
We've seen it multiple times before.
But I think, probably the top 4 ranked sides are probably going to be the ones that make the semi-finals, barring Pakistan. I just don't know who's going to be the unlucky side not to make it. I think New Zealand or SA might be at risk.
Yeah, I also think so. I think South Africa, yes, they have had success in England, but I think the current, which we'll get onto now, the current strength of the South African side is a little bit of a concern. We're not coming in with so much star power as we used to. We've also had a bit of Australia syndrome in terms of people retiring and people ending their careers and stuff.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, so I think England and India will definitely make the semi-finals. They're probably the top 2 teams that are probably going to be the ones that are most likely to make the final. We'll have to just see. But the 3 and 4 sides are the ones at risk. I'm not too sure who's going to make them up. But like you said,
Sri Lanka's always a dark horse team, always have been, appeared in numerous finals, just haven't clinched it yet.
Yeah. But like you were saying, the SA side is also, I think, going through a phase of new players.
I've got like a 15-man roster here that I think is a good blend for South Africa. If it differs much from just barring 1 or 2 players, I wouldn't be too shocked. Hashim Amla, number 1, I think that's a shoe. In his last World Cup, I think that's slightly added pressure on him to,
Well, his form at the moment isn't the greatest, so I hope he gets to form by May.
If he just plays his average, which I think is in the high 40s, close to 50 in ODIs, he'd manage. I mean, just a quick thing on Amla, where the guy comes from, he was considered a test player and a test player only, and look where he is now. So that's just incredible. I think number 2, Quinton de Kock, probably future leader of South African cricket. Special player. What was it, 300s in a row against India? That I've never seen crazy things like that before. Faf du Plessis, I think, is our captain going in for the World Cup. JP Duomini, mixed thoughts on him, but the experience, you can't buy experience, so we need him there.
Yeah, probably.
And the next guy I have in Aiden Markram, I think, is a very good player for South Africa. We need him for sure.
He's got a lot of force, a lot of power as a opening batsman.
A bit of hometown flavor for us. A Miller time, of course, David Miller. We need him there. X Factor player, can win you a match at any point in time. David Visa, I think, is also recently has shown he's a good asset. KG as our bowler.
Yeah,
I think Philander still has a lot to offer.
Yeah. Although he's slowed down a bit.
He has slowed down a bit. We'll come back to KG in a second. He's a very important player for us. Dale Steyn's last World Cup as well. A spectacular person, not even a player, spectacular person. I mean, broken shoulder. I mean, I remember watching that match early hours of the morning. They were like, that might be the last ball you ever see Dale Steyn bowl, blah, blah, blah. I mean, get out of here, man. The guy's back, fired up, causing all kinds of havoc at the moment.
He's just got a 4-wicket haul against Pakistan.
Yeah. Next, I think also another X Factor player, Pakistan born Imran Tahir. I think he can, but I think he can leak runs at time. He's more of an attacking leg spinner. He either gets it right or gets it horribly wrong. But we just love the passion from him. We love it, the character he has. I think our best shot at having a proper spinner probably Tabriya Shamsi. I think he's a decent enough guy. Lacks slightly on the athleticism side, but you can't have it all in cricket. Yeah. Andile Peflakwayo, a pretty good all-rounder, very solid. Chris Morris, slightly underrated at times what he brings to the table, but I think an excellent player. And number 15, it's a little bit controversial, but Behadeen. I think he words some of the time when it counts, but yeah.
But he's proven himself as well in some circumstances where he's actually won games for us or saved games for us.
That is true. But you see, the thing about him is every time he comes into the national squad and he does something bad, they put him back in franchise and he demolishes everyone. Yeah. So they kind of have learned to just keep him up there now.
And I think he's quite a pivotal lower order batsman for us. I think he brings a lot in that thing. He'll hold the lower order together, kind of thing, if he's out there. And he can really, with the likes of him and David Miller combined, can really take the game away from someone.
Can you imagine the nerves if it's like a knockout match and JP Duminy and Fahad Bahadeen are at the crease and they are our last two batsmen? I promise you right now, I'm blacking out right there, right then and there. I'm blacking out.
Yeah, I think that's probably as close a team list as we can guess at the moment.
You think there's anyone that I've forgotten about, just had a complete brain fart over and forgotten?
I can't think of anyone at the moment that stands out.
You think Bavuma is showing his recent, he's really gutsy, man. Do you think there's a place for him in the squad? Supremely athletic as well. Best run out of all time. In terms of some Australian commentators, best run out of all time. You need that in your ODI squad for sure.
Yeah, I think his fielding that speaks for itself. He's like a supreme athlete, and his batting, his stroke play, and that is really impressive, especially for someone that's obviously with his heart in that. That's before he came onto the international scene, was raised as a concern.
Unfairly so. I think Tendulkar broke all those molds, but
exactly. But I think he's proved all his critics wrong, and I think he's an extremely good stroke player and definitely could fill a nice spot in the middle order. So I definitely would like to see him there. There's also obviously now Olafia that's been selected on the test side for South Africa and that's really done well. So that's another person to look at. But I think South Africa's got quite a big pool of players that they can look at.
But South Africa, I think, is definitely looking up at England in terms of who's favourites to get there. If we look back, I think the last competitive tournament South Africa played was the T20 World Cup that they had in England, or was there like a Champions Trophy or something after that I'm not thinking of?
No, I think you're correct.
So we saw South Africa C-word in that pretty bad. So they sort of have to put that behind them and just go off World Cup form then. They've proven themselves that they can play in England, but then again, in those same Bastel de Olivier series, the ODI series that accompanied it wasn't too grand in my memory. I don't think we won any of those. So you have to overcome a bit of history there.
Yeah, and just for some of the other players that we should mention, I think there's also like Reza Hendricks. So yeah, I think he had a short stint in the squad in the last ODI series and that.
Yeah, was he impressive?
I think he's a hit and miss kind of player. Some days he's good, some days he's not. And there's also Heinrich Klaassen, which would be a backup wicketkeeper batsman.
I think you have to have one of those, eh?
Yeah, definitely going into a World Cup.
Besides the Cock, I don't think anyone else can keep wicket in the team besides him.
And then there's also the likes of Lungi Ngidi, another young pace bowler, and Willem Mulder, which is also a very young all-rounder.
I think those guys you're mentioning now, I think there's a 25-man squad that goes, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So I think those guys will probably fill up those remaining spaces.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, I think those are also other players there's probably some more junior players that we don't see often that will also go along. But they could be quite pivotal in games. And there's also got to remember that there's also South Africa will be playing the likes of the Bangladesh's, the Afghanistans, and that teams that they can cause upsets. So you've got to have a really good squad that's going to be able to perform every game.
Yeah, dude. So any other major points you want to go over before we get your golden prediction for what's going to happen?
No, I think we've covered it. I think. Okay, to wrap it up, then who do you think is going to win? We'll just put it like
I'll be honest with you, man. South Africa is taking this one, dude. In all honesty,
that's not a big prediction.
That's my prediction. In all honesty, I think South Africa. I think now we go to World Cups playing cricket, and when South Africa does that, they have a real chance, dude. Because there's one thing, excluding cricket, but in terms of the other sports, there's one thing you must never do is counter South African out, regardless of what the situation is. We saw it in 438. We've seen it in other sports numerous times before. We have a lot of prowess. We've won World Cups in rugby. We're a very proud sporting nation. I think that it's time for guys like Quinton de Kock and them to really show. I think it's time for Hashim Amla to show that 50 average. If they just play the way they're meant to, I think we are shoo-in for the final. Our first final, if I'm not mistaken, which is kind of shocking, but yeah, I think so. Okay, let me put it this way: South Africa in the final. That's my prediction.
Okay, well then.
Who's joining them there, Darren? Who's joining them?
Okay, well, yeah, I'm split a bit at the moment. Either India or Pakistan, I'm going to be there.
You think that England? You think that the press and the people are going to get to them too much, and something weird's going to happen? Yeah, some Duckworth-Lewis tragedy that's finally going to affect them for introducing them.
I think they'll choke. Probably at one of the crucial games, they'll probably choke, and then they'll slip out from there. But they might even choke in the semi-finals. England
aren't you scared to go outside after saying all this nonsense? I'm at least considering my safety here by saying we're going to get to the final. I can go out comfortably.
Yeah, it's my honest opinion. So yeah. But yeah, I definitely think it's going to be India or Pakistan in the final. So if it's South Africa versus one of those two, it'll still be a good final.
I think it will, man. But in honesty, I think you have to get to a few finals before you can honestly start to say you're going to win the World Cup. So for now, let's be reasonable. Let's say South Africa needs to get to their first final.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll be happy with that. Even if they don't win, if they just get to the final.
I'll be happy with it. In all honesty, dude, I'll be happy with the semi-final and top 4. Let's go, dude. Give us a chance there.
Okay. Yo. I think we should make the semi-final.
I also think, in all honesty, dude, if you're being strictly numbers and strictly like logic, I think we are in the top 4. After that, I think it's a far more mental game and a little bit of luck. Like it mustn't rain and nonsense like that.
Yeah, well, generally this past summer in the UK has been pretty good.
Darren, don't you dare try and say it's not going to rain all the damn time. Don't you dare even try and suggest that. There's no history you can go off. You're going off just last year.
There was very little rain in this past summer. A very hot a hot summer, dry,
No, that's
2-3
awesome,
months.
man. Hopefully, much of the same for the World Cup. That'll be awesome.
Yeah,
But
hopefully
don't you think England need to invest in a dome sort of situation somewhere?
They probably should, but I think it's mainly for their county cricket, and I don't know if that brings enough income to warrant having an indoor centre.
What about like in Durban, Moses Mabhida, which is a square pitch, they managed to convert that for a game. What about if they had it in Wembley? I think Wembley closes, right? I mean, the final, so at least say, right, the final doesn't get rained out. Wembley doesn't close?
No, it doesn't close.
Oh, no, right.
Yeah, I think the infrastructure.
What about the one in Wales, the rugby stadium in Wales? That one closes, right? Millennium.
Yes, Millennium Stadium in Wales. That definitely does close.
Because I mean, for it to rain in the final would just be horrible, dude.
Yeah, but I do think they have like an extra day or two kind of thing put aside if they need it. But it kind of does take away from the event.
I think you'd be lying if you said saying it's not going to rain, man. Come on, it's England. It's going to rain.
It will rain. It will rain. It's just when it does and how much rain.
Yeah.
If it's going to rain for like an hour, that's fine. It's not going to, a game can still go on kind of thing. It's not going to affect it. It might affect the flow, but the game will still be able to go on. But yeah, I don't think there's going to be huge spells of 3 days of rain kind of thing.
All right, cool, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, I think we'll end it there.
I think that's a good place to end our second podcast. Please look out for us on our different social media links. Until next time, cheers.